You're dead weight, Sierra. Always have been. Those words slithered into my ear like poison at a white tablecloth Italian restaurant in downtown Denver. My stepmom Vanessa sat close enough that her perfume, that sickly sweet Chanel knockoff, made my stomach turn. She smiled at the waiter passing by, then leaned in again, her voice barely a whisper, but sharp as a scalpel. My dad, Craig, sat directly across from me, fork paused mid-air over his ossor buka. Our eyes met. I watched a tear escape down my cheek. He saw it. I know he did. Then he cut another piece of veal, chewed slowly, and pretended the entire exchange never happened. That silence, that deliberate choice to look away, cost him everything he'd ever own. I'm Sierra Dawson, 34 years old, founder and CEO of Apex Digital Marketing with annual revenue hitting $5 million, offices in Denver, Austin, and Portland. A team of 47 brilliant minds, and a client roster that includes 3 Fortune 500 companies. I live in a $1.2 million Cherry Creek penthouse, drive a midnight blue Tesla Model S, and speak at marketing conferences from Seattle to Miami. But 15 years ago, I was just the forgotten daughter my stepmom wanted erased, and my dad was too weak to defend. That whispered insult at Carrabba's on 16th Street became the match that ignited a wildfire. Hello, beloved listeners. Thank you for joining me today. If you enjoy stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. I'm always curious to know which corners of the world you're tuning in from. Let me know your city in the comments. Enjoy the story. The waiter refilled my water glass. Vanessa touched my hand, fake concern painted across her Botoxed forehead. Honey, you okay? You look pale. I pulled away, grabbed my purse, and walked out into the October cold without a word. Behind me, I heard Craig's voice, faint and pathetic. Let her go. She's being dramatic. What they didn't know was that dramatic girl just declared war. Growing up in Lakewood, Colorado, I thought I understood family until my mum, Emily Dawson, died when I was 12. Ovarian cancer, stage 4, 6 months from diagnosis to funeral. For 14 months after, it was just Dad and me navigating grief in our own silent ways. Then Vanessa Lane appeared, a 38-year-old real estate agent with platinum blonde hair and a laugh that carried across rooms like a fire alarm. She came with 2 teenagers, Blake, 16, and Madison, 14, who treated me like furniture from day one. They got married 6 months after meeting, quick ceremony at the Jefferson County Courthouse, 11 minutes total. Vanessa moved into our house on Sheridan Boulevard with a U-Haul so packed the door wouldn't close. Her kids claimed the best rooms. I kept my small bedroom with the leaky ceiling. Dad worked longer hours, coming home after 8 most nights, letting Vanessa run the household like a dictator. Money became the first weapon. At family budget meetings, Blake and Madison each got $100 weekly allowance for social activities and necessities. Mine was set at $10 for essentials only. When I needed a $120 graphing calculator for pre-calc, Vanessa suggested I find a used one on Craigslist. Blake got a brand new TI-84 Plus that same week for his easier math class. My 16th birthday passed with a card and a $25 Olive Garden gift certificate. Madison received a MacBook Air for her 10th. Holidays meant exclusion. Thanksgiving trips to Breckenridge cabins that only had room for 4 people. I stayed home alone while they posted photos on Facebook. Christmas mornings where Blake and Madison opened piles of gifts while I got pajamas from Target. Every comparison was surgical. Blake's 2.8 GPA earned praise at dinner. My 3.9 honor roll got a shrug from Vanessa. Good grades don't guarantee success. Blake has people skills. The breaking point came the summer before college. I'd been accepted to University of Colorado Boulder with partial scholarships, worked 3 jobs to save $8,700 for the rest. When my acceptance letter arrived, thick envelope with the gold seal, I showed Vanessa in the kitchen. She glanced over while stirring jarred pasta sauce. That's nice, sweetie. Blake's thinking about community college. More practical. Dad came home late. I showed him the letter. He hugged me and said he was proud. Then Vanessa called him to dinner. The letter sat beside my plate, forgotten. 2 months later, Vanessa proposed a celebration dinner at Carrabba's, the Italian place where Dad had taken Mom for their 20th anniversary. Sierra's heading to college. We should do something special as a family. I dressed carefully that night in a blue sundress Mom had bought me. Wore her silver hoops, wanted Dad to see I was ready for this next chapter. We took 2 cars, Me squeezed into Blake's Mustang with Madison scrolling TikTok. The restaurant seated us at a round table near the window. Vanessa ordered $42 Chianti. Dad got a Peroni. Conversation floated around me, Vanessa talking about real estate deals, Madison complaining about her retail job, Blake discussing maybe starting a lawn care business. Appetizers arrived, calamari and bruschetta we barely touched. Then Vanessa leaned close, her breath smelling like garlic and wine. You excited for college, Sierra? I nodded, started to mention my dorm assignment. She cut me off, voice dropping to that intimate whisper. You know, sweetie, I've been meaning to tell you something important. She paused, glancing around the table. You're dead weight, Sierra. Always have been. The words hit like a slap. My chest tightened. I looked at Dad. He was chewing bread, eyes moving between us. He saw my face change, saw the tear. Our eyes locked for 3 full seconds. I silently begged him to say something. He swallowed, cut another piece of bread, dragged it through olive oil like nothing happened. Vanessa patted my hand. Just being honest, honey. You'll understand when you're older. Then she turned to Madison, asked about her schedule, voice bright and cheerful. I excused myself, walked past the bar, straight out to the parking lot. Stood beside Blake's Mustang, trying to breathe, arms wrapped around myself. My phone buzzed. Text from Dad. You okay? Come back inside. Not sorry. Not that was unacceptable, just a question and a command. I deleted it. Another buzz from Vanessa. Don't make a scene, Sierra. We're trying to have a nice dinner. I turned off my phone, walked 4 blocks to a King Soopers, sat on the curb under fluorescent lights, and cried until my ribs hurt. An hour later, Blake's Mustang pulled up. Get in. We're going home. Nobody spoke during the ride. When we got to the house, I went straight to my room, locked the door, and packed my duffel bag. Clothes, toiletries, laptop, Mum's jewelry box, her photos, my acceptance letter. Everything else could stay. At 1:30 a.m., I texted my Aunt Ruth, Mum's younger sister, who lived in Boulder and ran a forensic accounting firm. Can I stay with you? Emergency, please. She responded in 4 minutes. Always. Doors unlocked. Drive safe. I left a note on the kitchen counter. I'm gone. Don't look for me. Loaded my bag into my 2004 Honda Civic with 187,000 miles and drove north on I-25, hands gripping the wheels so tight my knuckles went white. Ruth met me at her bungalow on Maxwell Avenue at 3 a.m. in flannel pajamas. She pulled me into a hug that smelled like lavender and coffee, took my bag, led me to the guest room. Stay as long as you need. We'll figure it out in the morning. I collapsed onto the bed and slept 14 hours straight. The next week, Ruth laid out the terms. You go to school, contribute to utilities, save money, and build something real. No freeloading. She charged me $200 monthly rent, token amount to teach responsibility. I registered for 4 classes at CU, confirmed my scholarships covering $11,000 of the $14,500 tuition, worked out payment plans for the rest. By August, I had 3 jobs. Morning Starbucks shift, $9 an hour, plus $40 weekly tips. Afternoon marketing assistant at a Boulder startup, $15 an hour, 20 hours weekly. Nights and weekends freelancing graphic design on Fiverr, $25 for logos, $50 for social templates, $200 for full branding packages. Ruth became the mentor Mum never got to be. Every Sunday we sat with spreadsheets, tracking income and expenses to the dollar. Every purchase is a choice, she'd say, highlighting a $4 latte on my statement. That's 27 minutes of work after tax. Worth it? I cut unnecessary spending, brown-bagged lunches, bought used textbooks, skipped campus events with fees. By December freshman year, I'd rebuilt savings to $6,400 and started investing $100 monthly into index funds Ruth helped me open. Sophomore year, the startup promoted me to marketing coordinator. $22 an hour, 30 hours weekly, health insurance included. I quit Starbucks, kept freelancing, landed bigger clients. A Denver yoga studio needing a rebrand, a Boulder coffee roaster launching e-commerce. My Fiverr rating hit 4.9 stars. I raised rates. Logo packages now $350. Full branding $800. Revenue from freelancing hit $2,100 in March. $2,850 in April. Junior year brought the breakthrough. A Boulder tech startup hired me to run their entire digital marketing strategy for 6 months at $45,000. The contract specified deliverables: 200% social media growth, email list to 10,000 subscribers, paid ad ROI above 300%. I worked 80-hour weeks, tested 50 ad variations, partnered with micro-influencers. Results came fast. Social followers jumped from 3,200 to 11,800 in 90 days. Email list hit 12,400. Ad campaigns delivered 340% ROI, turning their $15,000 spend into $51,000 revenue. The founder called me into his office at contract end. "You just saved our company," he said, sliding a check across his desk. $10,000 bonus. "And if you ever start your own agency, I'm your first client." I graduated summa cum laude with 0 debt and $23,000 in savings. Ruth sat me down that summer. "You're leaving money on the table working solo. Incorporate. Scale this." I filed LLC paperwork for Apex Digital Marketing in July. $100 state fee. Built a website with case studies, pricing tiers, professional email. Reached out to Jenna Park, a Korean-American SEO specialist from CU, now stuck in a corporate job. "Want to build something together?" She quit the next Monday. We launched in September with $80,000 combined capital, $50,000 from my savings, and a loan Ruth co-signed, $30,000 from Jenna's nest egg. Rented 800 square feet in Boulder downtown, $1,400 monthly, 2 desks, secondhand chairs, a whiteboard wall. First clients were referrals. Revenue first quarter hit $62,000. Second quarter, $91,000. By year-end, $310,000 total, netted $87,000 after expenses, hired our first employee. Year 2, we scaled hard. Hired 6 more people, moved to Denver's Low-Do district, 3,200 square feet, with exposed brick, $6,700 monthly. Landed our first major client, a Denver SaaS company, $180,000 annual contract. Revenue year 2 hit $1.4 million. By year 3, $3.2 million. Year 4, $5.1 million. Year 5, $6.8 million. By age 30, I ran a team of 32, splitting time between Denver and new offices in Austin and Portland. Jenna became coup at $180,000 plus equity. We hired a CFO who projected $10 million by year 7. I bought the Cherry Creek penthouse at 32, $1.2 million, 20% down. The Tesla came 6 months later, $87,000 fully loaded. Forbes featured Apex in their 30 under 30 list when I was 29, 2-page spread. Denver Business Journal named me 40 under 40 at 31. My LinkedIn had 8,400 connections. I hadn't spoken to Dad, Vanessa, Blake, or Madison in over a decade. Then 3 weeks before my 34th birthday, the first message arrived. LinkedIn connection request from Craig Dawson. "Sierra, I've been following your success from afar, so incredibly proud. I'd love to reconnect. Love, Dad." I clicked ignore. 2 days later, an email to my work address. "Sweetheart, I know I hurt you. Can we please talk? I'm not asking for anything, just a conversation." I moved it to spam. A week later, Vanessa showed up at my office. Thursday, 3 p.m., I was in a conference room reviewing Q3 projections when our receptionist buzzed. "Sierra, someone here says she's family." "Vanessa Dawson?" My stomach dropped. I walked to reception, and there she was. Vanessa, now 53, in a taupe Macy's pantsuit, hair shorter with grey roots showing makeup heavy. "Sierra, look at you, all grown up and successful." That same sugary condescension. I didn't smile. "What do you want, Vanessa?" She glanced around the office, taking in the exposed brick, the standing desks, employees working. "Impressive. Can we talk somewhere private?" I led her to a meeting room, stayed standing while she sat. "I'll be direct," she said, pulling a folder from her knockoff Coach bag. "Your dad and I are in financial trouble. He made bad cryptocurrency investments, lost about $420,000 over 3 years. The house is in foreclosure. 60 days from losing it. Blake's unemployed with $40,000 in credit card debt. Madison's trying to start a life coaching business but needs seed capital. She slid the folder across. I didn't touch it. We need $180,000 to make this right. Stop the foreclosure. Pay off Blake. Get Madison's business going. I know it's a lot, but you're doing so well. This is pocket change for someone running a company like this. Family helps family, right? Silence hung. She shifted. Your dad wanted to come himself, but I told him I'd handle it. He's not doing well. Stress and health issues. This could really help him. Help all of us. I spoke, voice flat. How did you find where I work? She smiled. Forbes article. You looked beautiful. We've been keeping tabs from a distance. With everything happening, it felt like the right time to reach out. I nodded. I need time to think. Her face brightened. Of course, take all the time you need. Here's my number. She scribbled it on the folder. And Sierra, I'm really sorry about that restaurant night. I was going through a lot. Said things I didn't mean. You were never dead weight. She left. I stood in the room 5 minutes staring at the folder, then called Marcus Chun. The private investigator Apex kept on retainer. I need a full workup on 4 people, I said, giving names and last known addresses. Financials, employment, legal issues, everything. I need it in 10 days. Marcus didn't ask questions. You'll have it in 7. The report landed on day 6. Dad's trading account showed $422,000 in losses since 2021. Crypto and penny stocks, amateur moves with no strategy. Current balance, $340. Vanessa's credit cards maxed at $32,000. Mostly cosmetic procedures. $18,000 to a Cherry Creek plastic surgeon for facelift and fillers. $9,200 at Neiman Marcus and Nordstrom for handbags and shoes. Blake, fired from his warehouse job for stealing electronics, settled out of court for $8,000 to avoid charges. Now doing DoorDash, earning under $1,200 monthly. Madison running a multi-level marketing scheme disguised as life coaching. Recruited 12 people who each paid $2,500 for her certification program. Total, take $30,000. 3 fraud complaints filed with Colorado Attorney General. The foreclosure was real. $340,000 mortgage. 7 months of missed payments. Auction scheduled November 15th. But catching up required $24,000 in back payments, not $180,000. The rest was padding for their lifestyle, Vanessa's cosmetic debt, Blake's rent, Madison's next pyramid scheme. I called my attorney, Brian Torres. I need options for dealing with family financial manipulation. He scheduled a meeting. Brian laid it out. You owe them nothing legally. If they escalate, we file a restraining order. If you want to engage, I recommend a controlled environment, witnesses, recordings, document everything. I told him my plan. He smiled. That's not just legal, it's poetic. I called Vanessa from a new number. I've thought about it. I want to discuss this in person with Dad, Blake, and Madison all present. Saturdays, 7 p.m., Carrabba's on 16th Street. I'll buy dinner. We'll talk through everything. She sounded relieved, almost giddy. Oh, Sierra, thank you so much. This means the world. I hung up and finalized details. Reserved the same table from 15 years ago, arranged for Brian to sit at the bar with iPad ready to record, Marcus at a nearby table with backup documentation. Saturday arrived cold, November wind cutting through Denver. I dressed in a black Dior pantsuit, $3,500, tailored perfectly, Louboutin heels, hair in a sleek bun, diamond studs Ruth had given me. I looked like exactly what I was, someone who'd built an empire and didn't need anyone's approval. Brian met me outside at 6:50 p.m. in a navy suit. Marcus was already inside at a corner table. Dad, Vanessa, Blake, and Madison arrived at 7:02 p.m. in a beat-up Honda CR-V with a dented bumper. Dad looked older, 60 now, hair grey and thinning, shoulders stooped. Vanessa had overdone the makeup. Blake, 31, wore a rumpled button-down, looked heavier. Madison, 29, cheap blazer, too much perfume. They spotted me, faces lighting up with fake warmth. I stood, shook hands formally, gestured to seats. Dad sat across from me, same spot as 15 years ago. Vanessa to my right. Blake and Madison flanking Dad. The waiter took drink orders. Vanessa ordered the same $42 Chianti. Dad a Peroni. Blake a Coke. Madison, water with lemon. I ordered sparkling water. Appetizers arrived. I let them eat. Let them relax. After 10 minutes, Vanessa leaned in. So, Sierra, have you thought about helping us with the $180,000? I nodded. I have. But first, I need to understand everything. Dad, tell me about the investments. He shifted uncomfortably. I got into crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, smaller coins. Thought I could retire early. Market crash 2022. Lost most of it. Tried to recover with penny stocks. Made bad calls. Trusted wrong people online. It snowballed. I pulled out my phone, opened Marcus's report. You lost $422,000 over 3 years. That's not mistakes, that's gambling addiction. His face reddened. Vanessa jumped in. Hush, Sierra. He made errors in judgment. I turned to her. And you spent $18,000 on plastic surgery in 18 months while the house went into foreclosure. Another $9,200 on designer goods. That's vanity, not supporting family. Her mouth opened, closed. Blake spoke up, defensive. We all have struggles. I lost my job unfairly. Those theft accusations were bogus. I scrolled to his section. You settled out of court for $8,000 to avoid criminal charges. That's admission of guilt. Your DoorDash earnings are $1,200 monthly. You're 31, living off drowning parents. Madison set her phone down. This is really judgmental, Sierra. We came in good faith. I looked at her. Good faith. Your life coaching business is a pyramid scheme. You collected $30,000 from 12 people, provided 0 coaching, have 3 fraud complaints filed with the state. That's theft, Madison. The table went silent. I slid a printed copy of Marcus's report across 32 pages, highlighted sections, bank statements, court records, screenshots. It's all documented. Public records, verified. Brian stood from the bar, walked over, placed a business card on the table. Brian Torres, Ms. Dawson's attorney. Everything she's presenting is factual and legally obtained. Vanessa's voice rose. This is an ambush. We came to ask for help and you're attacking us with lawyers. I kept my tone cold. You came to manipulate me into giving $180,000 based on lies. The mortgage needs $24,000, not $180,000. The rest was for your debts, lifestyle, scams. You thought I'd just write a check because we're family. Dad finally spoke, voice weak. Sierra, we made mistakes. Big mistakes. But we're desperate. Can't you find it in your heart to help us? Just this once? I leaned back. Then I pulled out my phone, opened voice memo, played a file I'd kept 15 years. Static, then Vanessa's whisper. You're dead weight, Sierra. Always have been. The recording continued, picking up ambient noise, then Dad's voice in the car afterward. She's dramatic. Let her get over it. Vanessa, you can't say stuff like that in public, but yeah, the girl's exhausting. Too sensitive. The table froze. Vanessa's face went pale. Dad stared at the phone like it was a weapon. I stopped playback. I recorded that night. Kept it all these years. You called me dead weight, Dad, and you agreed. You saw me crying and chose silence. Dad's hands trembled. Sierra, I was wrong. I should have defended you. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I opened a second folder, pulled out documents. Here's what's actually happening. 3 months ago, my company acquired a distressed real estate firm in bankruptcy auction. Paid $340,000 for it. Vanessa, you worked there until it went under. As of Monday, you're terminated. Severance, 0. Her eyes widened. You can't. I pulled out the next document. I also purchased your mortgage debt through a third-party LLC I control. Bought it for $287,000. I now hold the note on your house. You have 60 days to vacate, or I proceed with eviction. I'm not stopping the foreclosure. I'm executing it. Dad stood halfway. You'd kick your own father out? I met his eyes. You let your wife call me deadweight and said nothing. This isn't revenge, Dad. This is consequence. I pulled out the last document, a restraining order application, pre-filled. If any of you contact me again by phone, email, social media, or in person, I file this. It's drafted. Brian submits it Monday if I give the word. You'll be barred from within 500 feet of me, my home, or my office. Vanessa's voice cracked. We need that $180,000. I stood, gathering folders. You need accountability. I'm providing it. Dinner's covered. But when you leave here, understand this is the last time you'll see me. I placed $200 cash on the table, more than enough, and walked toward the door. Behind me, Dad's voice broke. Sierra, please, don't do this. I stopped, turned halfway. You had 15 years to fix it, Dad. You chose not to. Live with what you chose. I walked out into the November cold. Brian beside me, didn't look back. Through the restaurant window, I could see Vanessa with head in hands, Blake arguing with Madison, Dad frozen like a statue. The recording had played loud enough that nearby tables heard. Phones were out, filming. Their humiliation was public. The fallout was brutal. By Monday, Vanessa's termination letter delivered. By Wednesday, foreclosure notice posted on their door. 60-day countdown started. Dad tried calling from different numbers. I blocked each one. Blake created fake LinkedIn profiles. I reported them. Madison posted an Instagram rant about toxic, successful people. Comments turned against her when someone leaked screenshots of her pyramid complaints. She deleted it in 4 hours. 6 weeks later, the house sold at auction for $295,000. Dad and Vanessa moved into a one-bedroom Aurora apartment. 650 square feet, $1,100 monthly. Divorce papers filed 3 months later. Dad took a job at Ace Hardware in Littleton, $16.50 an hour. Vanessa found work as a 24-hour fitness receptionist, $14 an hour, part-time. Blake bounced between gig jobs, wage garnishments taking 25% of earnings. Madison faced FTC investigation. Settled for $60,000 in fines on a 15-year payment plan, took a Target overnight stocking job at $15.50 an hour. Meanwhile, Apex hit $10.2 million revenue by year 7. We expanded to San Francisco, hired 12 more people, total headcount 59. Jenna and I were featured in Inc. magazine cover story. Where are they now tracking 30 under 30 alumni? I bought a cabin in Estes Park, $780,000, upgraded to Tesla Model X, $110,000. Ruth retired at 63, sold her practice for $1.4 million, started traveling. I funded her adventures as investment returns, really gratitude for saving my life. I launched the Emily Dawson Scholarship Fund in year 8, named after Mum. Initial funding $500,000 from Apex profit. Criteria specific: young adults 18 to 24 who'd lost a parent. Navigating toxic family dynamics, financial need, accepted to college or trade school. First year we funded 12 students, full rides. I read every application personally, saw my story in different handwriting. We held annual dinners. Ruth attended as guest of honor. 3 years later, at 37, I received one final message. Email from a public defender in Adams County. Subject: Blake Dawson, estate matter. Blake had died 2 weeks prior. Overdose, fentanyl-laced pills. Alone in his basement apartment. Body found by landlord after unpaid rent. No service planned. Remains cremated by county. The defender reached out to next of kin, me and Dad, asking if either wanted ashes or belongings. I stared at the screen, waiting to feel something. Grief, regret, vindication. Nothing came. Just hollow acknowledgement that a life had ended badly, one tangentially connected to mine but never close enough to matter. I replied with one line: I am not next of kin. Contact Craig Dawson. Attach Dad's last known address. Then closed the laptop, walked to my penthouse window, looked at the Rockies glowing pink in sunset, felt nothing but relief that I'd built a life where his death couldn't touch me. Dad sent a single text 3 days later. Blake's gone. Thought you should know. No blame, just grief. I read it, didn't respond, added the number to block list, went back to work. Jenna and I were pitching a $2 million contract, preparing slides. Life moved forward. That's what I'd learned. Life moved forward when you let go of weight others tried to make you carry. Years later, when people asked about my family, I told them the truth simply. I don't have one. I built something better. Ruth Jenna, my team at Apex, the scholarship recipients who sent thank you notes, they were my family. The ones who showed up, who saw value when I had nothing but potential, who never whispered poison, who never stayed silent when I needed defending. The restaurant where it started, Carrabba's on 16th, closed in 2024, pandemic casualty. Building turned into boutique hotel. I drove past during renovation, construction crews gutting the interior, and felt strange gratitude for that night 15 years ago. Vanessa's cruelty, Dad's silence. They'd been the spark that burned down my old life and cleared space for something permanent, something mine, something they could never touch, because they were never part of it. Thanks for staying through this entire story. What would you have done in my position? Have you ever had to cut out toxic family members to protect your peace and build the life you deserve? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this resonated with you, smash that like button and subscribe for more stories about boundaries, justice, and rising from the ashes. See you in the next one.